Welcome back to our podcast, Speaking Truths, the podcast where we break down how our speech speaks more of us than we believe. I am your favorite host, Frida Ramirez, and joining me, we have two special guests, Daniela Linares and Sara Contreras, with whom we will look at today's topic. The topic, which I think it's going to be quite interesting, the title is Speaking Like You Mean It. Language shapes gender, identity, and power. What's your opinion? Do you agree? We will analyze this in today's episode. Let's get started. So, the first question to get ready to discuss this topic. Do you think that the way we speak affects how others see us? What do you think about this?
Well, in my opinion, I definitely agree with this statement because um, language it's very connected with the identity of each person, and because it's so connected with our identity, it varies a lot from person to person, and it really affects how we see other people and how other people sees us as well.
Yeah, I also do agree that the way we speak affects a lot of how others sees us because it's kind of the first impression. The only information that we can get of someone is the way that they speak. And sometimes it's more than enough to see if we want to get involved with that person or if we don't want to have a relationship with that person. So yeah, I agree as well.
Great opinions, you guys. I also think that it is that the way that we are influence how we speak. I think that our speech is a collection of many things of many experiences that we have had as humans, and I also think that our identity shapes the way that we speak. Obviously, we know that in some spaces or in some areas we need to address the situation in the same importance that we are in this situation, but also we know that when a situation is formal, we need to be formal, but that doesn't mean that we are going to change entirely how we are. We can shape our identity and shape our language in whichever scenario that we find ourselves to, right? Well, these have been some great opinions, you guys. Let's see more about that. Daniela, you have some important concepts to explain so we can understand more about this.
Yes, well, first of all, I want to introduce the word prestige into the chat. When we hear the word prestige, we usually think of clothes or we think of money, but the way we speak is also a huge part of what prestige is, and we sometimes do this without noticing. For instance, if a British person comes up to us talking with their accents and their slangs versus an American person, we might think that the British person is wealthy or classy just because of the way he or she speaks, because it's very associated with royalty, and that resonates with power and money in our heads when it could be all the way around. And talking about power, let's remember, for instance, the standard language ideology. Again, citing the authors Rodney Jones and Christina Themistocleus, the idea that one way of speaking used in particular place is superior to others, and the standard against which others are judged is called the standard language ideology. Well, in other words, people believe that there is only a correct grammatical and phonetic way of speaking, but according to Rodney Jones and Christina Themistocleus, this has nothing to do with how elegant or logical or efficient the way of speaking is, but only with political and with social power. So, according to this ideology, talking in a standard language was seen as intelligent, social worthiness, and prestige. And in the end, this ideology ended up only being a complete excuse to discriminate against people who had different ways of speaking. So, yes, language is prestigious and powerful, and it affects the way people treat you.
That is so interesting. And I see this prestige not only in things related with education, but a lot to do with social circles. For example, if you are a 30-year-old woman and you want to seem more cool with teenagers, you have to be able to talk like they do and capture the identity of a teenager, understand the slangs, the TikTok references, etc. Or you will never be accepted by that social community.
And speaking of that, language has a lot to do with gender too.
That's very true. And what can you tell us about that, Sarah?
Firstly, I believe that our speech is shaped and constructed by our family and surroundings. But I also believe that our gender, stereotypically talking, is shaped by our speech. We grew up learning that what is and what is not acceptable to say depending on our gender. If you're a man, you can talk like this, and you can have this tone and stuff like that. And with women, it is most of the time the opposite of what the man can do. Like, how many times have we not heard that phrase like, that is not very ladylike for you to say? Like, for example, women are always expected to sound polite, softer, or more collaborative, while men are usually expected to sound firm, direct, and sometimes even dominant. And there are a lot of stereotypes that go into that. Women should not have a deep tone, or that they cannot say bad words, and that they always have to speak like a lady, as if being a lady is an adjective and not a noun. And also the gender, we have definitely have had impacts on how people treat us and speak to us. And it's not old news that men most of the time only listen to men rather than take orders from a woman. Because of them, our gender itself makes our voice lower.
Very true. In today's society, women's voice is still not listened to as it should. Now that we have seen how gender, power, and identity shape what we speak, let's talk about how all of these concepts are used in our daily life and how we can build up characters with the use of identity and language. First of all, I want to point out something. What if I told you that language is not something we use, but it's something we perform? And have talked about this before, we shift our speech all the time, depending on what we're doing or who we're with.
Yeah, and talking about that, I have a really fun memory, or a funny memory, that when I noticed that indeed people not only shape their personality, but shapes a lot their language. I was once in a student council inauguration, and everyone around me was really anxious and was trying to make like a big impression because the rector was coming to the school. So I was really, a lot of my friends are in student council, so they had to make speeches and they had to, talk in a way. And I remember that hearing them speak for me was really weird, because it was like them speaking real formal when I usually listen to them speak really informal. So for me to see how much they were paying attention to their grammar, the things that they were saying, it was like, that's not something that I'm used to. And each of the people that spoke in that student council, each of them spoke really, really, really great and with a great grammar, and everything was formal until the rector came to do his speech. When he started talking for me, was like, what? He started talking in such a informal way. His tone was really relaxed. He wasn't paying attention to like the part that it was like a student council integration, he was like really chill, like, thank you guys for having me here. Like, he was not paying attention at all that it was something kind of seen as formal, because he has the power to do so. Like, everyone had to make the good impression for him, so everyone was making this kind of shapeshift because he has power, he has different styles, so you want to speak like him or like he would speak. So when he started speaking, for me, it was like everyone, I could see the faces of everyone became really relaxed, since okay, he's not taking this too formal. Like, he knows that it's formal, but he knows that you can be chill around me. And that's a memory that I have till this day, and realize that yes, a lot of times we shapeshift a lot the way we talk and the way we speak. And this is also presented in when we have job interviews, or when we have some sort of presentation, important presentation to give, maybe at school, maybe at your job. You kind of change not only your tone, but the way that you speak, even the way that you are kind of acting, or the way you stand up changes a lot, just for the small fact that it's seen as that it's in something important. That's my opinion.
Exactly. And that's an exact example on how we most of the time are performing with our language. You mentioned that sometimes in workspaces we change how we communicate, and I related to that, because when I first entered my new job, I was interviewed by two supervisors that are on different teams. And I remember the first time that I met them, I was very shy. I was shy at first, but then I started to feel more extroverted and started speaking. And we were just in a very formal speech. I was trying to make jokes to make them see that I was a serious person, but I can also be joked with. And fast forward to this day, I am friends with those supervisors. We have met outside of work, and obviously our speech is very, very different. Sometimes I think like, I used to be very afraid of them, because I was scared that if I said a joke or something, they would see it as something negative in my work. But that is a very, very clear example of we know when to joke, for example, we know how to act around certain people, and we know when it's the time to act silly and to be laughed with and everything, but also we know when it's time to work and when we need to be formal with, right?
I agree with your experiences. I also have experience at my workplace. I remember that I was talking with a colleague in a very casual way, and we were laughing and speaking like quickly and using informal terms and certain expressions because we were comfortable with each other. But then one of my students walked into the classroom, and without even thinking about it, I immediately changed the way I was speaking. My tone became calmer, and I chose more formal words and less expressions, less slangs. I even adjusted my posture, and it felt like switching roles in a second. With my teamwork, I was just more relaxed. I was a more relaxed version of myself. But when my student walked in, I performed the role of the teacher. So I agree that we are constantly performing through language, depending on who is listening and what identity we need to show in that situation and to that person.
Thank you, Daniela, for that experience, and thank you for sharing that. So we now we know that language isn't just communication, it's identity, it's status, it's power. And that indeed society plays a huge role in our speech, and we are formed by it. Thank you very much for listening to us today. I hope that you liked this episode and learned something new. Don't forget to like and share this episode with your friends, and let us know what topic you want to hear next. See you next time.